My name is Jamie King, and I am the author of Kodis Heroic Journey. This story is dedicated to my son Chandler. May he grow up to be as strong and courageous as he is mischievous. I love you, Chandler, Mom. My life changed forever that frightening yet wonderful day. I had been living in my mother's warm, cozy pouch for over 6 months. From inside my safe den, I could smell eucalyptus leaves, and I knew once outside her pocket, I could eat the yummy leaves. My mother gives me pellets of partially digested eucalyptus leaves, something she calls Joey food. Not bad, Mother, but when do I get the real stuff? Today is the day I am going to be brave, I said to myself as I pushed slowly on the pouch opening and peeked out. The world was so bright that my eyes began to water. I pushed and pushed until my entire head popped out, and then I saw the most beautiful face. I hope I look like her, I thought. Hello, my precious little Cody, my mother said with a contented smile. She sounded so different from out here. Hello, I mumbled as I slowly crawled from the pouch, clinging to her stomach. I couldn't believe all the strange things around me. In the months that followed, I spent many hours clinging to my mother's tummy or riding on her back. Only when I was hungry, sleepy, or frightened did I climb back into the comfort of her pouch. My mother told me all about our environment. I learned so much about Australia. We live in the country down under, Cody. Down under what? I asked. She told me about the people who were chopping down our eucalyptus tree homes. Tree by tree, we were losing the tall forest that feeds and protects us from the eagles, the hot sun above, and the wild dog packs below. One night, I sat watching the stars up through the eucalyptus leaves. I remember Mother saying, "You can wish upon a star and make your dreams come true." Instead of wishing, I decided to do something for all koalas before it was too late. So I made a plan. I only hoped it would make a difference. While all the other koalas were off eating and playing, I slipped into the darkness. "I love you, Mother," I whispered. "Please don't worry, I'll be back." I had never been very far from home, but after traveling from branch to branch, I finally arrived at a clearing. I had no idea where I was. Suddenly, 2 big gleaming eyes came out of the dark. The creature's roar was so scary that I lost my grip on the branch and fell to the ground with a thump. When I tried to get up and crawl away, my leg hurt so much I could barely move. Big gleaming eyes came closer and closer. Then there was a screech, and I thought about Mother and how I was never going to be able to save koalas. I closed my eyes and fell fast asleep. When I awoke, I was wrapped up in something like my mother's pouch, resting in a big pink den with lots of sunshine. 2 people were talking. "Dad, can't we keep him?" Ashley pleaded with her father. "Ashley, he is a wild animal. Once his leg heals, we have to return him to his natural habitat," her father said. The girl and her father both left the den. I couldn't wait to explore this strange place. Then I noticed my leg wouldn't move like it used to. There was a hard white wrapping all around it. I must have been hurt when I fell from the tree. With a lot of effort, I climbed down to the ground below. My stomach was growling. I smelled the leaves of a little tree in the corner, so I crawled over and nibbled on a leaf. Yuck! This is the worst tasting leaf I've ever eaten. Just as I was about to put the leaf back, the young girl walked into the room. "Well, hello there. I'm Ashley, and you must be hungry." Ashley offered me more of the yucky leaves, but I wouldn't eat them. After several minutes, she gave up trying to feed me and lifted me into her arms. "You are a funny gray fuzzball and smell just like cough drops. I could hold you in my arms all day long. I'm going to have to find out what you like to eat." Ashley carefully put me down and explained she was going to go to the library to learn about koalas in the wild. I sure hoped she learned fast because I was as hungry as a kangaroo. Hours later, she returned with a basket full of eucalyptus leaves. "We had to drive miles to find these," she told me as she put the basket of leaves down. They tasted just like the ones my mother always found. My life was about to change again. I was the show and tell at Ashley's elementary school. Ashley brought me to class and explained how koalas were losing their forest homes and needed help. It felt good receiving so many hugs and kisses from the students. even when it tickled. I must have made a good impression, because all the students rallied to my cause and wrote a letter to the Australian Parliament. The kids hoped that Parliament would read their request and pass a bill to prevent so many eucalyptus trees from being cut down. When I set out to save koalas from destruction by humanity, I never realized that man would play such a big part in saving us. Shortly after my show and tell visit at the school, my cast was removed. A very kind man called a vet said my leg had healed perfectly. It was time for me to leave. I was going to miss Ashley and her family, but also I missed my mother and my forest home. Today would be the day. I woke up early and climbed onto the windowsill to admire the morning sun. I couldn't wait to go home. Ashley was not out of bed yet, so I climbed down and slowly crawled into her bedroom. She jumped off her bed, rushed over, and scooped me into her arms. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed. She told me that her father was taking me to a zoo. I couldn't believe my bad luck. I would never see my mother again. Tears filled my eyes. "Don't cry, little one. I know what it feels like to lose a mother. My mother went away when I was only 7. You belong with your mother in the wild." As we made the awful trip to the zoo, Ashley and I started feeling worse and worse. "Dad, please pull the car over. I'm sick. I'm going to throw up on the back seat," Ashley said with a moan. Her father pulled over to the side of the road, and before I knew it, Ashley grabbed me in her arms and leapt out of the car. I heard Ashley's father call her name as she ran and ran into the deep forest. She lifted me onto a low tree branch and yelled, "Run away, little one, run away. I'll never forget you." Happy to be free, I couldn't help but steal one last look at Ashley. Ashley placed me in the same territory where they saved me so many weeks ago. I climbed high into the sweet eucalyptus leaves and began my long journey home. "I'm back, Mother," I whispered, waking her from a noonday nap. "Cody," she cried, hugging me so tightly I almost couldn't breathe. "I was so worried about you. Where have you been?" I told her about my travels, my broken leg, Ashley and her home, the show and tell, and how the school class was trying to help koalas. She listened without saying a word. Then she smiled, put her arm around me, and took another nap. Later on, I learned that my journey had made a difference. Parliament voted on the request from Ashley's class, and a new bill would protect many patches of eucalyptus forest from needless destruction. I was never going to lose my precious home. When you wish upon a star, dreams are far away, but dreams come true because of you and what you do today.